The Christmas holidays are meant to be a festive time for families to get together. However, for the Namibian police, Christmas is a time of road carnage, house burglaries, and jail cells filled with drunk drivers. In 2014, the World Health Organization ranked Namibia as the first in the world in terms of the number of road deaths per 100,000 residents. Most of these deaths occur over the festive season, and the ones who feel the most pressure during this time are our police. In a report, the Motor Vehicle Accident Fund said that there have been 2,774 serious road accidents reported and almost 500 deaths on Namibia's roads this year. How does the Namibian police deal with these statistics, and how do they plan on dealing with drunk and irresponsible drivers over the Christmas period? With us in studio this evening is Deputy Commissioner Ralph Ludwig, Head of the Traffic Law Enforcement Division, as well as Deputy Commissioner Kanguatjivi, Head of Public Relations Division at Nampol. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to One Exclusive. The festive time is supposed to be a joyous time for families to get together and enjoy each other's company. However, I am sure that every one of you know of one person who's lost his or her life on our roads. With us in studio is Deputy Commissioner Ralph Ludwig, Head of the Traffic Law Enforcement Division, as well as Deputy Commissioner Edwin Kanguatjivi from the Public Relations Department of Nampol. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Alna. Good evening, viewers.
Thank you for joining us.
That's a big pleasure.
Deputy Commissioner Ludwig, let's start off with just painting the picture. Why is the festive season in particular so dangerous for us?
Yeah, Alna, as you have said, it's a time for people to move around. And, in this festive season, everyone wants to go rest after a year's hard labor. And unfortunately, we are not working, some of us are not working in the place where you stay. Say, for instance, from Windhoek to the north, from Windhoek to the south or the east or west. And I think if people rest before they travel, if you know you travel tomorrow, why don't you rest the previous night nicely and then you travel the next morning? Because then you will be fresh and you will be awake and you are vigilant anyhow. We also need to tell them that you do not need to take any alcohol or drugs when you are on a trip. This is really very, very important. What our other problems are on the road are also people that are taking chances on this road. Just ignorance, they overtake on blind spots, on curves, on places where they are not supposed. Because the road marks and signs tells you what to do. And then if we just follow the basic rules of these signs and markings on the road, you cannot go wrong.
Maybe if I may add
yes,
to what
please do.
I think Commissioner Ludwig left something important that needs mention, and that is the truck drivers. Because sometimes the employer wants to get maximum out of their employees. Yes. That this person has to drive this truck from DRC, and the moment he arrives here, next morning he has to take another trip to Cape Town, and this guy would fall asleep behind this giant truck. Truck goes off into a wrong lane, head-on collision. 20 people are dead. So the employers also have to look at that as well.
Usually I speak about all road users. If they know the rules, they should just apply it. And when you have, stops and roadblocks and so on on the road, you really need to take cognizance of that. And people should take rest when they are tired, because fatigue is one of our current problems on the road.
So that's really a big thing that you've noticed. It's not just speeding and disregard for traffic, but really that people are tired when they're traveling.
Yes, there are a few factors. It's not only fatigue, it's also speeding, it's also ignorance. Just ignorant, to be ignorant on the road. You don't even see the road sign or the road marking. That leads you into danger.
It's obviously a festive time. Almal wil kuier. Everybody wants to have a great time with their family and their friends. Now, obviously, this spills into road traffic accidents, and there are a lot of people who are arrested. Those who don't cause a lot of havoc or are prevented or stopped beforehand, they are arrested.
You know, your license can be suspended. You can get a big fine, and You cannot get anywhere if your license is suspended. So the main thing here, you even cause a very, very big danger to the other road user. You might take the other road user's life, and what do you think about that?
So I think that's also the big thing. You might feel that you can drive when you're drunk, but the reality is you are posing risks for the other people on the road.
Yes, they call it the water of encouragement. You encourage yourself to drive, which is wrong. But if you know you are going to drink and you are somewhere where you are not nearby the house, you have to make a plan. Get one friend, maybe who's not drinking, who can take you home, or you can phone your relatives.
And I think at the moment, there are numerous taxi services
That's
that
correct.
you can call at all
That's correct.
hours of the night. So there's really no excuse anymore.
No, there's no excuse for drink and driving.
Deputy Commissioner?
I mean, I think Commissioner Ludwig should also touch on the minibuses. You have these young drivers, especially between the west and north, that have to travel. The one guy would load here in the morning, go to Oshakati, he wants to come for a second, trip, or maybe 3 times he wants to travel between here and Oshakati. And these are young people, I don't know where they got their driver's license either. On numerous occasions I've been on the road with a marked police car. This car would come speeding from behind me. The vehicle does not have insurance. You are carrying 18 to 20 lives in that vehicle. It has a trailer and you're driving 160. What an inconsiderate driver. Now, whether this pressure comes from the owners of the minibuses that this person have to travel so many times between the day, but they are also a cause of concern to the roads. You would follow him until at the service station where he stopped, you warned him. The moment you are no longer visible, he repeat the same thing. So those are things that
So there's this real culture behind some of the minibuses at
Absolutely. They disregard just like the taxis in Windhoek, they disregard every possible road rules.
And you from the police, you are definitely keeping an eye on them, I presume.
Certainly.
That's correct. And we also have close cooperation with the taxi associations, the NAPTAs, NPPTAs, and so on. And we advise them to have a second driver in that vehicle, especially the long distance ones. They need to have a co-driver because we know that they are going for the money, driving up and down, but at least they can do it safe if they have a co-driver. If the other one is getting tired, then the other one can step in.
All these gentlemen and women who are caught for drunk driving and who do have to spend the night in jail, what challenges do you face with these inmates?
Basically, the challenges is space. When we arrest or Nampol arrest someone, he should be kept in custody or in our cells until that person appears in court. The moment he appears in court, then they should go to what we call remand prisons, which we don't have in the country. The only place that now we use as remand prison is at the Windhoek Central Prison, and has very limited space. In fact, we have to have remand prisons across in all 14 regions, so that those that appear in court, they go directly to the remand prison so that we have space for the next offender in our cells. Now, these cells are usually overcrowded. Sometimes the ombudsman went there, complained that the condition, the people are overcrowded, this and that. Where do we have to take them in the absence of remand prisons? So that is a challenge. And if we have operations like during the festive season, you going after drunk drivers and you catch maybe 100 of them on a daily basis. If they don't appear the next day, you have them in the cells, so the cells will be overcrowded. That is a challenge on its own.
And what about those people who can't pay bail? Do they just sit until their trial appears?
If they cannot pay bail, usually they are given a date for the next appearance. So unfortunately, we have to keep them in those overcrowded cells until such time they appear in court.
Prevention is better than cure.
That's
just
correct.
Don't go there.
Yeah. Well, you might spend your Christmas in there.
Deputy Commissioner January, now we have all these problems, but city police and the traffic department, there are technologies that you guys are using to keep crime in check. And one of them is scanning license plates. Now, is this something we're going to see more of in December?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially in the city, we will really make use of these technologies to see whether these vehicles belong to the owner. Also, if the driving licenses are real, because there you'll find a few fake ones. Also for warrants of arrest. If you need a person to appear in court, you might pick him or her up in the city or elsewhere.
So you scan this driver's license and then that person's offence history comes up?
We are in an infant stage on that one, just to link with NATIS to have the history. But to load warrants of arrest, a name and an address is sufficient.
It's more than enough.
More
Fantastic.
than enough.
The festive season is not only a time of danger on the roads, but is also a time of increased burglaries. As many people leave their homes for days or weeks at a time, there are often more opportunities for burglars to break into homes. The Namibian police works closely with various neighborhood watch groups across Windhoek. Despite these partnerships being highly effective in keeping suburbs safe, there are also those residents who try and take the law into their own hands. Last month, a resident in Kwesetmund was arrested for shooting and killing an intruder in his home. With us in studio is Deputy Commissioner Ralph Ludwig, Head of the Traffic Law Enforcement Division, as well as Deputy Commissioner Kanguatjivi, Head of Public Relations for Nampol. Welcome back, viewers. Deputy Commissioner Kanguatjivi, let's talk a little bit about the fears that people have to leave their homes over the holiday. It's probably quite obvious why people break into homes over December. But can you tell us about those burglars? Who are these people?
Right now, you will notice, especially when we are moving towards December holiday, there's a specific group. Theirs is to rob at gunpoint or at knife point or whatever. They want to collect their loot for Christmas. They don't work hard. Their work is to rob others. So their Christmas is robbing those who have sweat for the whole year. So you will see a wave of, there was an armed robbery there was an armed robbery here and there. Those are gangs that just go for businesses to get money. Then you have others that specialize in housebreaking for residential. So they would hang around the streets just to watch the movement of the owners. And the moment they see an opportunity, they break in and they take whatever they can take. So a lot of them we arrest. Every now and then there is an arrest. He was found with items which we sometimes take back to the owners. Just to find out that the same client that you had last week is back again on a case of burglary. Now, there we don't understand whether it's us, the police, who fail or the prosecution who failed to impress upon the magistrates or the judges to say that this person is a repeated offender. He was just on bail last week and therefore let him rather rot here until his case is finalized or until he's sentenced. Because you find in most cases, these career burglars are back on the street and they go what they do best. And knowing that most of the people travel during this period, this is their best time to break in. So I would advise that if you are going on holiday, that you have somebody look after your home.
Because, these guys are, as you said, if they're repeat offenders, they are quite experienced already.
Absolutely.
So it's not like a bunch of 14-year-old kids who's just breaking in to eat your pudding.
I can tell you, to them, there's nothing to be, no fear to be in our custody because they are used to these places. To them, it's like, well, if I don't get my luck and I got caught, I ran out of luck and I'm caught, so fine. The police cells are a friendly place. It's nice to live there. Although the public complains that we're brutal, we are this. These people should not have want to return there if we're that brutal. But they don't really care. They just go break out and you get it. So most of our clients in our cells, they are repeated offenders, most of them.
And the fact that these are grown men who are experienced and who don't have much regard for the law. And there are a lot of people who stay in their homes who choose to defend themselves against these men. So let's talk a little bit about self-defense, especially about pulling a weapon on a burglar. How does the police feel about that?
The question of when to use a deadly fire or don't shoot type of question It's a very difficult one, even for us, the law enforcement official. The law says when your life is in imminent danger, you may use deadly force. When the life of a third party is threatened, you may use deadly force. But after you do that, you will probably be arrested. As for the police, once you are arrested for shooting someone, regardless of the circumstances, you are arrested, you go through the arraignment, the whole process, and unfortunately, even if the circumstances surrounding the shooting, it's clear that you were in defense of the life of a third party, it's only the courts that have to understand those circumstances. And
So even you using extreme force is frowned upon,
Yes.
as the police. So surely it will for the citizen as well.
Yes, similarly. Now, to say when your life is in imminent danger, somebody breaks into your house and you open your room or you hear some noise in your room and you went to investigate and this person start running out and you shoot this person in the back while he's running out. I don't know whether it will be justified to the court to say that my life was in imminent danger. The court may say, but the person was running out. The only thing that happened here is malicious damage to property in that he broke your house. It really does not justify you to take his life. You would argue that in the first place, he doesn't belong in my yard. What was he doing there? But then there's those fine lines. If you have a good lawyer, you're likely to get off the hook. If you get one of these ones, you are likely to go to jail for matter. So there's a gray area there. So your life must be in such an imminent danger that you had no choice. You fire a warning shot, the person was still coming towards you, you had no way to retrieve, otherwise this person would injure you, you can use deadly force. But it's not to say that you are not going to be arrested in arraign. You go through the whole process, and only the court can pronounce that in that case, you had no choice but to use deadly force. So in the meantime, you have to go through all these ordeals of being locked up and going through trials and getting lawyers and all this.
So on the one hand, you know, if your life is in immediate danger, this guy's standing in front of you, he's about to attack you. If you shoot him, then chances are, you know, it will be more acceptable. But then on the other hand, I also know of women who have been left with guns, and when they tried to pull the gun on the burglar, he took the firearm from her. So generally, what is your advice to people who do have firearms in the home?
You could be shot with your own firearm. So in the first place, if there is no imminent danger, I would advise, don't even touch the firearm. If it is loaded, cocked in your possession, when it becomes so imminent that otherwise you'll be dead. When you pull it out and use it.
Now you will find different scenarios. And there is where our human race must use discretion. You might feel very threatened, but it's not the case. And then you must also sum up the whole situation. You know, if a guy comes with a knife and you also have a knife, why are you going for a pistol? I'm just asking a question, you know. If this guy or this person is coming with a panga, then if my life is really threatened on that way and there's no other way to do it, this is what you go in to explain to the court. So the court will rule at the end of the day, but you must think in a human way how you can preserve life.
Thank you very much. Viewers, we're going to move into an ad break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about how to keep yourself safe this December. Welcome back, viewers, to On Exclusive. Deputy Commissioner Kanguatjivi, can you tell us, neighbourhood watchers have been very active in keeping our neighbourhoods safe. How much authority do they have?
I would say none. These are a group of people within a certain neighborhood. You know, some houses belongs to that Pioneers Park or Academia neighborhood or Kleinwindhoek neighborhood. And not everybody is party to that. One would wish that every neighbor would participate to this group because what they're doing is actually excellent work. The way it works is that the community within a certain neighborhood would organize themselves and form a neighborhood watch. and then register this neighborhood watch within the police precinct within the area. So if it is Klein Windhoek, notify Klein Windhoek, and they are registered neighborhood watch. So at times when the police patrol, they would patrol with them because they are the people in that neighborhood. They know what is happening in the neighborhood. They would lay the police there.
So your eyes and ears, basically.
Yes, absolutely. In the absence of the police, they are free like any citizen to observe and patrol the environment within their neighborhood, and if they observe something that is suspicious, they are to notify the police. They may temporarily stop a citizen while questioning, call the police, and the police can take over from there. So it's actually a good initiative. It does take some of the burden from us, but it's not a question of citizens, you know, taking the rights away from the police, because what you will find is that if I live in Pioneers Park, in my case I live in Pioneers Park, and I'm walking, say for instance, from Baines or from the bar home at 12 o'clock and the neighborhood finds me, they will think, yeah, but what is this black man doing in our neighborhood?
A racial profiling.
Then it becomes a racial question, because you may see that a white person who's walking free in Klein Windhoek is more welcome than a black person. Then it becomes discriminatory. That's now the gray area that the neighborhood watches have to be sensitive about. If the person lives there, who are you? Where are you going? No, my house is just around the corner. We can give you a lift. Your neighbors can give them a lift rather than confronting him because of the color of skin. So sometimes we experience those incidences that are not so pleasant. But in fact, the initiative is good in itself.
So really the neighborhood watchers, you are the eyes and the ears. They make sure that if they see something suspicious, they call you.
Absolutely.
But they don't have the authority to act on anything. And as you say, they should be sensitive about the people who are living in those neighborhoods.
Absolutely. But as for the police, especially in the city of Windhoek, there are patrols. In certain precincts, we have zones. So Nampol, together with city police, they have their zones and they will be active in patrolling their zones. It's just that the criminals are sitting somewhere in the riverbed nearby. They know that the police patrol just passed. They are likely to return in the next 20 minutes for the next round, so they may use that opportunity. So for the homeowner who's going away, it's always advisable to have a relative staying there looking after the house, or maybe pay a security company to have someone there. In the event your things are stolen while the guard is sleeping on duty, or the guard stole your things, maybe your insurance would have a recourse as to recover your losses.
And obviously, I think the general message to the drivers, don't drink and drive. Stay awake, stay alive. Anything else?
That's correct. And our drivers, there's another thing that also come up here and there. They are giving money to our traffic officers or to the police at the roadblock. They should not do that. We call it bribery. Now, if somebody is caught, you will feel the wrath of the law, as well as the traffic officers. Those who are taking, let them be reported. We have our ACC, we have our regional commanders, we have our regional crime coordinators, we have the traffic regional commanders, unit commanders.
And I mean, I guess if more people come forward, it will be easier to, pinpoint the people who are doing wrong and the people who are accepting the bribes.
Yes, and then some of the people, when they want to report, they don't know where to go. We can even give you all the numbers of the regional commanders, all the people involved in this issue, so that people know where to report.
Fantastic. And
yes.
After the show, we'll make all those numbers available to you.
Yes. Okay. Just more tips to our drivers. We have to try our utmost. When you are in a vehicle, a vehicle is not a thing that you are playing with or can play with. It is an instrument that takes you from A to B. Now you must do it safe, and you must be calm, and you must know the vehicle also. I think if we stay calm in any situation, you will reach a lot. Let us drive with care and consider other road users. We are not alone on this road. There are always other vehicles, animals, stray animals, domestic animals, you get dogs, bicycles, pedestrians, and our pedestrians, they are really in a bad situation here. They don't look when they move over a road.
Yeah, they must also know the rules of the road.
They must know the rules, but if you see them, that is where you can also, do something. We want to know. We want to really everyone to be safe on the road, but it also starts with the person behind the steering wheel, and our passengers. They have to talk, especially these ones who are.
The passenger, yeah.
Going into long distance buses and taxis, they have to talk.
So if your driver's not driving properly, you
Yes.
have the responsibility to tell him, clean up your act.
If the person inside paid for a service, then the service must be delivered correctly. The driver must take you safe from here to there because he's asking money. So you have a right to talk. If this guy is driving with a minibus that is supposed to be 100, and he's driving 140, you have to talk. Because that is a risk. You put your own life in risk. So you have to talk to these drivers.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Viewers, I just want to add that, there's a lot of burden on the police as well. They have to pick up these accidents, they have to deal with this trauma. So not just for fellow road users, but for the police as well. Let's be considerate toward each other. Thank you very much. Viewers, that is all from us on One Exclusive this evening. Be sure to SMS your remarks and comments to 555. SMSs are charged at $1 Namibian. Good evening.